Welcome to the Module 7, the NERC Reliability Functional Model. I am Dr. Guillermo Francia. I will be teaching this module. Upon completion of this module, students should be able to define the NERC reliability functions, identify the NERC functional entities, understand the NERC functional model, describe the evolution and purpose of the framework, define the technical terms and concepts associated with the functional model. The goals of the reliability functional model are the following. Number one, it provides the framework for the development and implementation of the NERC reliability standards. Number two, it describes a set of tasks to ensure the reliability. Number three, it provides consistency and compatibility among reliability standards. And number four, it provides a guideline for the development of standards and their applicability. The reliability functional model is divided into three main function groups: the standards and compliance functions, the reliability service functions, and the planning and operating functions. Succinctly, the purpose of the NERC reliability functional model is to: number one, provide a framework for reliability standards. Number two, describe in general terms each function and the relationships between the entities that are responsible for performing the tasks within the functions. And number three, provide flexibility to accommodate the range organizational structures, procedures, and processes. Let's look at the standards and compliance functions and entities, starting with the standards development function. The entity that enables this function is the standards developer, whose primary responsibilities are to develop and maintain reliability standards, to receive the request for additional standards, and to send the developed standards to the Compliance Enforcement Authority. Next, we look at the compliance enforcement function. The principal entity in this function is the Compliance Enforcement Authority. This entity is responsible for monitoring and enforcing the standards, receiving the newly developed standards, and administering the compliance enforcement processes. The final function on the standards and compliance function group is the reliability assurance function. The entity that enables this function is the reliability assurer. Its relationship with other functional entities include: it coordinates reliability assurance activities with functional entities within the reliability assurer area. It coordinates reliability assurance activities with adjacent reliability assurers. It coordinates critical infrastructure protection programs with functional entities. And it collects information from functional entities related to reliability assurance processes. On the reliability service function group, we start with the operating reliability function. The entity that enables this function is the reliability coordinator. The reliability coordinator maintains the real-time operating reliability of its reliability coordinator area and in coordination with its neighboring reliability coordinators wide area view. The wide area view includes situational awareness of its neighboring reliability coordinator areas. Its scope includes both transmission and balancing operations, and it has the authority to direct other functional entities to take certain actions to ensure that its reliability coordinator area operates reliably. The next function in this group is the transmission service function, which is enabled by the entity called the transmission service provider. This entity administers the transmission tariff and provides transmission service to transmission customers under applicable transmission service agreements. It is also responsible for developing agreements or procedures with transmission owners. Also in the reliability service function group is the planning reliability function. The entity responsible for this function is the planning reliability coordinator. Its relationships with other entities are: number 1, coordinates and collects data from system modeling from transmission planner, resource planner, and other planning coordinators. Coordinates transfer capability with other planners and coordinators and transmission owners or operators. Number 3, coordinates plans with reliability coordinator and other planning coordinators on reliability issue. Number 4, receives and reviews plans from transmission planners and resource planners. The next two functions in this group are the interchange and the balancing functions. The interchange authority is the entity responsible for the interchange function. It authorizes the implementation of valid and balanced interchange schedules between the balancing authority areas and ensures communication of interchange information for reliability assessment purposes. The balancing authority is the entity responsible for the balancing function. It integrates resource plans ahead of time, maintains a balanced load interchange generation within a balancing authority area, and supports interconnection frequency in real time. Moving to the planning and operating function group, we start with the transmission ownership and the generator operations functions. The transmission owner owns and maintains transmission facilities, coordinates with transmission planners, generator owners, and other transmission owners, and load serving entities. The generator operator is the entity responsible for the generator operations function. The entity operates generating facility and performs the function of supplying energy and reliability-related services. Further, it coordinates with the reliability coordinator on operational data and reliability analysis. Two other functions in the planning and operating group are the transmission operation and the transmission planning functions. The transmission operator enables the transmission operations functions. The transmission operator is responsible for the real-time operating reliability of the transmission assets under its purview, which is referred to as the transmission operator area. The transmission operator has the authority to take certain actions to ensure that its transmission operator area operates reliably. The transmission planner is responsible for assessing the longer-term reliability of its transmission planner area. Transmission planners coordinate their plans with adjoining transmission planners to assess impact on or by those plans. Additional functions included in the planning and operating group are the resource planning and generator ownership functions. The resource planner entity's responsibilities include the following. Number 1, it coordinates the resource model with its planning coordinator. Number 2, it coordinates with transmission owners and transmission planners on the deliverability of resources to transmission customers. Number 3, it coordinates with and collects data for resource planning from the other entities. And number 4, it coordinates with other planners, coordinators, and providers on resource adequacy plans. The generator owner entity owns and maintains generating facility or facilities. The entity's responsibilities include the following. Number one, it provides generator information to other entities. Number two, it provides unit maintenance schedules and unit retirement plans to other entities. Number three, it develops an interconnection agreement with transmission owner on a facility basis. Number four, it receives approval or denial of transmission service requests from the transmission service provider. And number five, it provides reliability-related services to purchasing selling entity pursuant to an agreement. Continuing with the planning and operating group, we describe the load service planning and the purchasing selling functions. The load serving entity secures energy and transmission service to serve the electrical demand and energy requirements of its end-use customers. It is responsible for number one, submitting load profiles and characteristics, plans, and forecasts as needed to other entities. Number two, identifying new facility connection needs for end-user customers. Number three, providing generation commitments and dispatch schedules to the balancing authority. Number four, providing information as to self-provided reliability-related services. And number five, providing planned purchases to the resource planner and transmission planner for system modeling and reliability evaluation. The purchasing selling entity purchases or sells and takes title to energy, capacity, and interconnected operation services. It is responsible for number one, arranging for transmission service from transmission service providers and makes arrangement for reliability-related services with generator owners or load-serving entities. Number two, submitting requests for interchange to interchange authority. Number three, notifying generator operators and load-serving entities if a range interchange requests are approved or denied. And number four, receives final approval or denial of a range interchange from interchange authority. And number five, receives load profiles and forecasts from load-serving entities. The last function in the planning and operating group is the distribution function. The distribution provider enables the distribution function. It delivers electrical energy to the end-use customer from the transmission system. For those end-use customers who are served at transmission voltages, the transmission owner may also serve as a distribution provider. Thus, the distribution provider is not defined by a specific voltage, but rather as performing the distribution function at any voltage. The distribution provider provides the switches and reclosers that could be used to shed load for emergency action.